Chapter is Chapter 8, Insurance Regulations. So this chapter is mostly for California. So if you're from another state, then look for your state's regulations and study that. So a certificate of authority is a certificate of authority means that you are allowed to do business in the state that you reside in. So if it's a certificate of authority for California, it means that you are allowed to do business in that state of California. Admitted versus non-admitted. Admitted means you're authorized, you're allowed to do business. Non-admitted is you're not authorized, you are not allowed. Domestic, foreign, and alien. Domestic means here in the state that you reside in, so here in California. Foreign is another state other than your own. And alien is another country altogether. So it's something outside, like if I said Canada, that is considered an alien. Next thing is stock. Stock and mutual. Stock is stockholders, right? Or non-participating policies. Mutual is for policy owners or policy holders, and they're given participating policies, and these are the people that would get dividends. Remember, dividends is given to the policy holder or the policy owner. Okay, it is not given to stockholders, because stockholders, they don't own policies, they just own stock. Fraternal Benefit Society is just a group that is not work group, so they get a different type of plan. So it's like a religious organization, a fraternal organization, and it's just coverage for their members. Okay. Authority and powers of producers. So express is something written and that you can see, like if I wrote my name on a paper, it's expressed, you can read it, it's right there, right? Implied is something that's not specifically stated. It's something like if I was on the phone with someone, it's late at night and I was like, man, I'm so tired, right? I'm not specifically saying I want to hang up, but I'm implying it, right? So it's something that's written, but it's not specific. Okay. Apparent is the relation that you have with the company that you're working with. Most likely, the easiest thing that you'll see is business cards, right? Because when you have the business card, you have the logo of the company that that person works for, and in the middle is the name of the person, number to contact them at, and a position that they hold at that company, right? So an apparent, for example, are business cards and rate books. Fiduciary. Fiduciary is someone that has a financial responsibility to get money from one party and bring it to another. So fiduciary responsibilities, like for an agent, is we get money from the client and we get that money and we go and take it to the company. So that's our way of saying, we're taking money from this person, giving it to that person. Now I cannot take the money from the client and take $1 for myself and then give the rest to the company. That is called commingling, right? It's illegal for an insurance producer to commingle premiums with their own personal funds. I need to take the money from this person and give it to that person. No, like, I'll just, steal $1. Like, no, it's that we are responsible to take the money and give it to that person without taking any for ourselves. The next thing we're going to go over is the commissioner. The way the commissioner is put into office is much like the president, right? We elect the president every 4 years. They can serve 2 terms. Same thing, a commissioner every 4 years, 2 terms, and they're put into office. And what happens if a president passes away? The vice president comes in to replace them, right? So if the commissioner or something happens, the governor will appoint a replacement if the position becomes vacant. Okay. Powers of the commissioner, though, are different. I look at the powers of the commissioners much like the responsibilities of the police, right? The police don't write the laws. The police don't, make new laws or anything like that. They enforce the law. Like, this is what needs to happen because it's in the law, right? So same thing, as agents, if we're not following certain things by law, the commissioner can take our license away, put fines on us, things like that, because they are making sure that everyone is following the law. Insolvency is when a company has a lot of clients. They must have an account separate from everything else that has enough money that if all their clients died same day, same time, that they have enough money in that account to pay everyone out. And if they don't have enough money in that account, they're considered insolvent. Okay, that means that they do not have enough money to pay claims. Paid in capital. Paying capital, main thing you need to know is remember liabilities and assets. Okay, liabilities and assets. The next one is the California Life, Health, and Insurance Guaranteed Association, or how most people know it is CLIGA. Okay, and basically what CLIGA is there for, it kind of says if a company goes bankrupt and a life insurance company goes poof, right? And they have clients, what CLIGA will do is cover those clients to give them time to, get a new policy with a new company, right? But everyone is covered by CLIGA, all insurance companies. So we are not allowed to use CLIGA in advertisements. So if you see right there, it says that, it says, the last bullet point says, insurers and producers may not use the Guaranteed Association in advertisement because it is something that's available to all insurance companies. Okay, unfair trade practices. Unfair trade practices. Some examples are boycott, coercion, and intimidation. A story for intimidation is like, there was this person from another company, and what he would do is he would sit down with a client, and right before he started to talk to them about their life insurance and what happens if they would pass away, he would whip out a little coffin, like a little baby coffin, and put it on the table and open it. And he would say, okay, today we're going to talk about what happens if you pass away. And most people, I'm like, even if, like, let's say you were in a situation, if someone came to your house, put a coffin on your table and said, let's talk about what happens if you pass away, most likely you're going to go, get out of my house. Like, I'm uncomfortable. I am not okay with this, right? So what he would do is he's like, if you want me out of your house, just buy a policy for me. So he intimidated people with his little antics, and he would make people buy policies for him, right? And he also trained people to do the same thing. And he lost, they told him, you're retired, right? Because he was on the older side. And everyone that he trained, the company told him, like, this is what you were doing, it's wrong, and if you don't stop doing it, we'll take your license away. So the original person, knew better. He knew what he was doing. But the ones he trained, they didn't know any better. They just knew what he would taught them. So once they were told what was correct, then if they continued to do it, then they would lose their licenses. Misrepresentation are lies. We went over that in chapter 2. Rebating is offering something that is not in the policy. So if I told you, like, if you buy this policy, I'll let you drive my car for free for a week and I'll pay for your gas. Like, I'm offering you something, but that's not in the policy, but I'm trying to do it so that you can buy the policy. Twisting is, switching. I usually do this motion, right? Twisting is switching around information and policy information of other policies to try to make someone's policy seem better. False advertisement is you're exaggerating about something that's in the policy that really isn't as much as you're selling it to be. Okay? And unfair discrimination, right, is you're like, I don't want to do business with that person because of their race, because of their gender, things like that, right? Oh, I'm not going to do business with you because you're a girl, things like that. That's unfair discrimination. Now, all of the following things that I just told you about, there are fines and there are things that happen, consequences that happen for you doing those things that I just talked about. So the fines, there is no really easy way for me to like say something to make you remember them. It's just you need to remember them. So I would use a flashcard, I would write them down. So it's $5,000 for each act, okay? $10,000 for each act if willful, if you are aware, right? And then there's cease and desist order if you got this. It means stop what you're doing, or you'll be, kicked out of this, company, or even just life insurance, in general. No life insurance company will take you. If you have a cease and desist and they kick you out, you won't be able to come back in. Violation of a cease and desist order is $5,000 per violation and $55 per violation if willful. Okay? If you do not pay the fines and you continue to what you're doing, again, they will just suspend your license. They will just cancel it. You're done. They'll just you're out of this permanently. Fraud is when you're tampering with the application intentionally, right? The agent, and we're messing with the application. Fraud is a felony. Okay, write that down. Fraud is a felony. Okay, license, pre-licensing, and continuing education. So some of this should sound familiar to you because you guys have done your pre-licensing. Transacting without a license. So if you do business without being licensed, there is a fine of 50 grand or 1 year in jail or both. So either you'll be fined or put in jail, or if it's really bad, they'll do both. They'll fine you and put you in jail. Pre-licensing, you need to do 20 hours of pre-licensing, 12 hours of ethics, right? And your certificate lasts 3 years. Renewal, license renewal. You need to renew your license every 2 years, okay? Renew your license every 2 years. Continuing education. Continuing education is 24 hours of continuing education. 3 of those hours must be in ethics. Now, annuity training. If you are certified to do annuities, you have to do 8 hours of annuity training and 4 hours in annuity continuing education every 2 years as well. Termination of license, okay? All of these bullet points are things that happen that would cause your license to be just terminated right away. So you can surrender your license. If you decide, I don't want this license anymore, you write a letter to the commissioner, you send it, and your license is done. The next one is your license automatically terminates the moment you pass away. So I can't put in my will, like, I want my life insurance license to go to this person. Like, no, if I die, it dies, right? Corporations loses their license if the corporation dissolves. So if the corporation just poofs out of nowhere, they lose all their licenses as well. So if they try to come back, they can't. They got to do it all over again, okay? Partnerships lose their license if they try to switch over partners. The other, you can't be like, oh, I'm going to give my license over to my partner. Like, no, they need to have a license. You need to have a license. Okay. Now, if a company, goes down under, but they fill out certain paperwork to come back before they went completely under, they have 30 days to fill out all the paperwork to come back. Maybe they come back with a new name, right? But they need to fill out those paperwork in those 30 days or else they're considered to lose all their license. Okay, record keeping, you must keep all records for 5 years. Record keeping for 5 years. The next thing is if you change your address. If you change your address, you must inform the commissioner immediately. Why? Because if they send you something sensitive in the mail, you want to make sure that you're the one receiving it, not some person that moved into the house that you used to live in. Okay, free insurance is illegal. Errors and omissions. So obviously we are human. We do make mistakes, and insurance companies are aware of that, and they have certain things into place so that if something happens, like you messed up on the amount of coverage that someone wanted or how much premium they were paying, it's an easy fix, right? But if it's like, so types of coverage and types of losses, those are things that companies can easily fix. So they're ready to fix that error or something. We just make sure we do a fix in the system, and then we're all done. But losses that aren't covered are things like the ones I was talking before, like if you're, commingling, if you're stealing money from the client, things like that. Those are things that you are intentionally doing and you know that it's wrong, or it's something that's so severely wrong, even if you've done it by accident, that the company cannot cover you and you will be fined and you will lose your license possibly. So there are some things that the company is aware of happening and they can fix it. And there's just some things that they can't help. If you really take advantage of clients and take money from them, that's something that the company won't fix, right? Any crimes, things like that. Now, penalties, violation of a misdemeanor is $25,000 or imprisonment or both, okay? So either they'll fine you or put you in jail, or they'll do both, okay? And if the victim lost more than 10 grand, it should not exceed 3 times the amount that the person has lost. Okay, the commissioner may suspend your license for up to 3 years. So they'll suspend you for 3 years, and they say after 3 years, you may get your license back. Okay, penalties for violating replacement provisions, right? When you replace your policy with another policy, there are certain things that are in play, like certain forms you have to fill out, certain things you have to do. And if you don't do them, you will be fined. Now, an agent and a company, agent is a person and a company is a whole firm. So if you're talking about the agent, the fines will be smaller than if you're talking about the insurer, right? So if you're talking about the company, the fines are going to be much higher. So if it's talking about an agent, it's $1,000 for a first violation and 5,000 to 50 grand for a second or subsequent. Insurer, if the insurer doesn't follow the replacement provisions, it's $10,000 for a first violation and 30 grand to up to 300,000 for a second or subsequent, right? And if anything happens that is too severe, the commissioner may suspend or revoke any license, whether it's from an agent or a company. And that is the end of chapter 8.